Columbus Day might be the most important federal holiday. Hey, I am Chuck the Bureaucrat, and this year Columbus Day lands on the 9th of October. And I gotta be honest, military leaders, government civilians, they have a tendency to kind of cringe and fumble the deep meaning associated with this holiday. I mean, you've probably heard that some jurisdictions have enacted a counter holiday called Indigenous Peoples Day on the same day as Columbus Day. Of course, the media, the internet, they just love to hype this up as some kind of contradiction or conflict in our society. And then they get all the leaders virtue signaling one way or the other, and they all end up missing the point. For starters, when Columbus landed in the New World, it marked the single most cataclysmic event in all of human history. I mean, I argue that everything changed in 1492. Massive human migration, countless wars, and heck, I argue that even World War II was caught up in the aftershocks of the discovery of new continents. In fact, you don't need to look far in our world to see the tremors of this event. But check this out. Why is Columbus Day a federal holiday in the first place? It's because on March 14th, 1891, in New Orleans, there was the largest mass lynching in U.S. history. A couple of months earlier, the New Orleans police chief had been shot by a group of gunmen. He wasn't killed immediately, and when one of his captains asked who shot him, he whispered a slur. So, of course, there were mass arrests. Some accounts say that as many as 250 people were originally jailed, but finally 19 people were charged and held without bail. 9 of these people were put on trial in March of 1891. 6 were acquitted, 3 were declared a mistrial, but those 9, plus the other 10 still awaiting trial, they were still held in prison. The next day, a very well-organized mob used a battering ram to gain access to the prison. In all this mayhem, the prison warden unlocked the cells of the men and told them to hide as best they could within the prison grounds. Now, technically, only 2 of the men were dragged out and hung from a tree. The others were shot or clubbed to death inside the prison, and 8 people, including a 14-year-old boy, managed to survive by successfully hiding somewhere inside the prison. But what does all that have to do with Columbus Day? Well, the victims of this were Italian immigrants. Back in 1890s, there was plenty of anti-immigrant sentiment, and most of this was aimed towards Italians. So, in 1892, 1 year after this lynching and 400 years after Columbus landed in the New World, President Benjamin Harrison declared Columbus Day a one-time federal holiday. In the years that followed, Congress passed laws that made Columbus Day an annual event. So look, American history is uncomfortable, and you can't exactly have a national holiday of regret. But Columbus Day is about as close as you can get. So take some time to honestly and with as little emotion as possible consider the past. Because if you're alive today, you're going to be part of shaping the future. And if there's one thing that we all want for the future, it is a better world. So get out there and be the best leader you can be.